Hello and welcome back to another 10-minute investor eye test with Arcanum Ventures. This is Carmelo and my good friend Sasha. And today I'm really excited to say we're looking at Loudio. It's been all over crypto Twitter, and basically it's a SocialFi experiment on Solana that rewards community mindshare with trading fees and redistributions. Rewards distributed to top mindshare contributors weekly forever. So it's a perpetual social experiment. I'm not quite sure what to think of it, but everybody on Twitter won't shut up about it. So, Sasha, do you know anything about Loudio or the Loud token?
I know nothing about Loudio or the Loud token, and I think it's similar to um, when you told me about Kaito. I had no idea what Kaito was, so I guess like I'm not as in touch with crypto Twitter as I once was, disappointingly.
No, I think that's probably for the better. But yeah, Kaito, I think they're leveraging Kaito. I don't know much about it. You and I talked a little bit before, but they are leveraging Kaito, which is this new social engagement platform that kind of tracks engagement on Twitter and tries to track like what people are talking about and the quality as well as quantity. So it's not enough anymore just to shill and mention something. You have to actually have something important to say about it, which is interesting here because it sounds like a little bit like a meme coin. So I'm not sure what you can't do like high level threads here. So I'm curious to see what kind of behavior they want and they're encouraging and what they're looking for and yeah, what the actual Loud token does, because we always say it for meme coins or for any coin. Like, can you replace it with a stable coin? Is this worth investing in or holding?
It's kind of wild, I guess. I mean, like claiming something is a social experiment is a bold move, right? And I guess we're gonna find out because from what you've told me, it sounds like there's a lot of money behind this. They've got some sort of revenue share. So I think what's gonna happen is we're probably gonna dive into like maybe the philosophy of this and what does the kind of future look like. So yeah, I guess if with that being said, we should go ahead and start the clock for all of our viewers that are unaware of how this works. We take 10 short minutes to look at a project up and coming, or in this case, I think Loud Token is already live and this thing's been functioning or running.
Yeah.
So it's a special kind of case where we're going to take a look at like what's happened, what are they doing, what's the reception, and is it a token that we might be interested in investing in? So stick around till the end where we give our verdicts. And yeah, you ready for that 10 minutes, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, 10 minutes on the clock for Loudio, starting right meow. Boom. Okay, and so I've got the website up here because I couldn't find a whole lot of information anywhere else after you told me. But yeah, stay loud. Rewards distributed to top mindshare contributors weekly forever. Forever is a bold statement in crypto, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's not like a season. It's not just a one-time thing. Like a lot of these airdrops that you and I see, they're built around the TGE or the launch event, and then it kind of fizzles out. So I don't know how they're going to keep engagement going forever. But it looks like they've had $1 million in 24-hour volume, and I assume they mean that's for the Loud token itself. So they have some information about the token price, the current market cap, FDV. I don't know how much of that's you know circulating. Maybe it's 100%, maybe not. But I see one thing. The guy in the top of
Wow.
this chart, Ultra, it says this is an experiment by him.
Yeah.
The top powered by Kaito. So it's kind of weird that you're on the top of your own leaderboard. Like you might want to recuse yourself.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Like, maybe this individual wanted to create this social experiment and then capitalize on it. That's not unheard of in crypto.
Yeah.
Is it a conflict of interest? I don't know. If like, they're using smart contracts that are auditable, that are transparent. If he's just created the system and now he's participating and he knows the system well and everyone's subject to the same rules, then maybe it's okay. But I do see, I guess there's some more information here. It says every week, trading volume generates swap fees that get distributed to the top contributors of Loud's mindshare. And I'm assuming by mindshare, they're talking about people that are on social media that are talking about the Loud token. And this creates a sustainable cycle of engagement and rewards. Is it sustainable?
I'm not sure, like, because basically what they're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is a trading vehicle, right? Like they just want to incentivize people to trade this, short it or long it, doesn't matter. So they kind of want volatility. They don't want token price accrual necessarily, right?
Yeah, it's true, right? They just want people to touch the token, and they don't want people to hold the token. They
Yeah.
don't want people like to buy and use it as an investment. They want speculative trading. And because this entire thing makes money off of volume, I wonder what the trading fees are. Because depending on how they structure those fees, it might turn some people off. Like even a 2 or 3% fee might be too much.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it kind of goes against, like, I imagine all the other projects on Kaito, they want you to put out like educational content about tokens like polka dots on there, for example, or Arbitrum. So they want you to put out threads that actually help educate people. Like, this is what they're doing, this, and this. This is some traction in the ecosystem. Uh, this seems to be like they don't care about that because there's not a whole lot you can actually write about. Maybe they're trying to attract like TA chart people. They want like traders to come in and talk about this because I don't know what other content can you really put out there besides this is the general concept, and then you mention it nonstop in every post you make in reply to people, and then okay, you're trending on Twitter, but where does that get you? Does that actually amount to any trading volume?
It's crazy because this is kind of like that chicken and egg thing when it comes to like technical analysis as well. There are a lot of people that are traders that seek out high volume assets specifically because when there's volume, there's an opportunity to make money through volatility, right? And so like I'm imagining all of the content across crypto Twitter coming from any of these individuals in this leaderboard are like, hey, go trade loud now because loud is some crazy thing. Maybe they make some stuff up, but it's got high volume, and then that might attract traders regardless. But there is some like threshold point where like if there's enough liquidity across markets and it's a healthy asset, then people can apply technical analysis or some other analytical methods to trading this. And maybe they can make money the same way that people trade Bitcoin or Ethereum. But yeah, it's like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy right now. At least it needs to be.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, so I guess we got to look further, and maybe there's like I doubt there's a white paper, but uh, figuring out what the token actually does and why it needs to have a token. Because in theory, it's not a worse idea, but you could apply this in same process to just about any token that already exists. Like, imagine you did this for Solana, right? Like, the more you talk about Solana, the more the token gets traded, and then you get a part of that fee, maybe on a DEX or a platform or wherever in an
Mm,
exchange. But you can maybe like copy the strategy for a token that already exists because this is just all being applied to, they don't call it that, but it's basically a meme coin. It exists for no reason other than to be a trading vehicle. So
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen any information about what it actually does or if you get anything for holding it or investing in it because it could be the best idea in the world, but you and I are looking for a reason to hold this or a reason to invest in it. And it doesn't seem like
Mm.
there's anything there so far.
No, not at all. So it's like maybe one of these, maybe the first ever eye test where like we need to change the investment thesis. It's kind of crazy. I do see
Yeah.
here there's like a 4% fee after Meteora, and I'm not certain if Meteora takes trading fees. I know there's like gas fees and some other, maybe there's another type of transaction fee, but the majority of the fee goes to Mindshare, so these contributors. And then they've got some going to, I'm assuming, buying Kaito, which is going to help prop up the asset of the underlying infrastructure, which is
Yeah.
Kaito. That's sort of like the crypto Twitter or social analytical platform that's like analyzing whether these tweets or content is good, and then 10% going to the creator. So this dude's double dipping. He's making 10% off of everything, which is 10% of $400,000 a week. It's wild. And then on top of that, he's got close to 1% of mind share because he knows the system quite well. But like that's it. That's all the info on the website. I do see there's a medium here though, and so this kind of gives a little bit more information. What is Loudio and the Loud token? Again,
Yep.
SocialFi experiment. The Loud token has a 1 billion supply in fixed amount, 90% allocated to sale and lock liquidity. So it makes sense. Like, they're not pre-selling this. That would be really, really concerning if they were.
Hmm.
And they've got the majority of that probably being loaded into the liquidity pool for people to just buy and trade. 10% for community initiatives, that's a lot actually. 10% is a lot when you consider like a lot of meme coins that go to market. They might say, hey, we have like 100% that's been put into the liquidity pool, but then early insiders could buy up 10%. And then let's say, just simple math, that meme coin has a market cap of $1 million, but the liquidity depth is like 100,000. So there's only $100,000 that can be extracted. So if the insiders have 10%, which is $100,000 of the token, they could extract the majority of the liquidity and rug pull. So like if they're just holding this 10% for community initiatives, I don't really know what that means, but they could just destroy the markets if they chose to.
Yeah, maybe they need to seed the demand for it or like give away some rewards to get people started. I'm not sure when this emerged or how long people have been talking about it, but I think it just popped up this last week. So it's interesting that they're launching so soon as well. And I also saw that they're not doing any burning mechanism, which is at least
Mm.
refreshing. But it is a meme coin, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I've got the Twitter up here, so maybe we can get an idea of like what's happening with Loud. And maybe this gives us some like, some context on what's happening. I see dirty VCs.
Yeah,
Stay
no dirty VCs. Yeah, it's like everybody hates VCs. We're the easy punching bag in crypto.
I
Uh,
suppose. But it does
it's
say the loudest always wins forever. It's like this funny saying that I have, like, on Facebook. I used to tell people like, Facebook's a really strange place to have an argument because people have this idea that like the level of loudness you are is proportional to how correct you are. That's not how arguments or debates work. So I don't know
how
how that
crypto.
applies here.
That's a crypto how that works. But yeah, I think if you look, I don't know what to search, but if you just type in Loudio in or loud token or whatever in there, I think you'll start to see like the quality of posts that people are posting about this token. So like that's kind of one of the things we wanted to understand. So it's
So
just
this
like,
person, yeah.
yeah, it's like people talking about trading it, like the second guy, right? Like looks bullish based off of nothing, and yeah, people are going to just do their chart analysis and kind of make this like the ultimate trading vehicle, I guess, and they're bootstrapping it from nothing to become something, which is certainly interesting.
It's maybe a more ethical way of like
Yeah,
using exit liquidity. Instead of influencers telling people to buy an asset, they're telling these people to trade an asset, and then those people trading essentially, if the market is controlled, oh, there's 10 minutes. But if the market's controlled by just a bunch of traders and it's like a kind of a fair launch, then every trader is in control of their own outcome, right?
yeah,
They can buy in at a certain price, and then depending on how they trade, whether their understanding of technical analysis or whatever is good, as long as there's no insiders dumping tokens, then
hmm,
they can exit at the same value or more. And so, like, these people are making money off of just that volume. So they don't want you to buy so they could dump on you. In fact, I might argue that the majority of people on that leaderboard probably don't even hold the loud token. It doesn't sound like they need to hold the token for anything.
yeah. And this next little penguin right here, he's giving away loud. Just follow me, and I'll give you some loud. So I'm wondering if they bought some just to give away, but they're giving away $40 worth of loud token. So that's an indicator of like cheap and easy engagement. I don't know how Kaito works 100%, but it scrapes Twitter for mentions. So they got the tag in there. I don't know how it determines the quality of the post. This seems pretty low quality to me. If I'm Kaito and I'm looking for usual engagement, like is this educational or helpful? But in the context of this token, this might be what they're looking for. So they're like, yeah, do giveaways by all means. Get people to follow loud and talk about it and give your tokens away to them. And we don't care as long as the price goes up or the fees go up, that's all that we care about.
This is very true. And then, we can just do some simple math and understand like if this individual is giving away $40 worth of value for engagement, and then they are like trying to rank higher on the leaderboard, it seems like they might be they're definitely going to be under 1% of the mind share, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't even the leader in number one has 0.6% of the mind share. So let's say reasonably they're like 0.1% of the mind share, and there's $400,000 in weekly volume. And so 0.1% of that is going to be $400. Like there might be an incentive for people to actually try and game the system.
Yeah.
But that could break it if Kaito is not really filtering out like quality posts, or it's not filtering out, if it's filtering out like promotional stuff like this that's inorganic, then it's a different story. But there might be a way to break this system, which is a little bit concerning.
I don't think they care if you break it. Like it kind of reminds me. I was doing some research over the weekend over. I think there's something called the enhanced games, which is basically the Olympics, but you're allowed to use
Oh yeah.
steroids, and it's kind of like that. It's like they're like by all means cheat as much as you want. Like your cheating only benefits us, right? Like this is built at least in a way where the incentives are aligned so that people that are going to use bots or agents or Shilling or whatever giveaways, they're still helping. In the end of the day, they're helping Loud get mentioned, so that's all they care about. What does suffer in the meantime is Twitter, like the general quality of everybody's timeline. I've seen people comparing, or sorry, the complaining. They're like, wow, crypto Twitter is usually not great, and now it's gotten even worse. Like just a bunch of idiots saying loud, stay loud, and all this nonsense. And if you don't know what they're talking about, it seems like everybody's lost their mind. So diluting further the internet quality and the kind of content that you're able to see on a daily basis. I guess we're all losing on that
Mm.
front.
It is, you made a good point. Like it is, I can't believe I'm about to say this. It is kind of brilliant. Like even if someone is paying for promotion and they're getting inorganic engagement, the only way they make more money is if that inorganic engagement converts to transaction volume, which converts to trading fees, which they earn.
Yeah.
So like it's a self-regulating system. But I guess you're right. Like we're all suffering as a result of that.
Yeah. And it's nice because like these incentive systems, like you and I design token economics, we design incentives. Oh, we design incentive mechanisms, and everything's aligned here. So it's actually well built from a token perspective, like or a system perspective, like value flow. But it would be nice if, for once, we could get people to collaborate and do something more valuable than shill nonsense on Twitter. Like if we could actually incentivize people to go make the world a better place instead of getting trading volume for a coin that doesn't need to
Yeah.
exist, that would be great. But I don't think crypto is close to that yet. Hopefully someday. But I guess we can go to our verdicts, and I'll let you go first. But I'll say, since this isn't like our usual typical investment or holding, like I wouldn't hold this token. It seems like a trading token. So to make it interesting, would you invest your time into shilling Loud on Twitter and becoming a top 25 advocate for the token for the promise of that sweet, sweet Solana rewards that come out every week, I imagine? So I guess we can do it from that perspective, just because like you and I are not going to go out and invest, part of our treasury or some money into the Loud token that people are just trading. So
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, time is money. And before I dive into the verdict on my side, I want to remind everyone, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you tap that like button, subscribe, throw us a follow, stick around, leave a comment if you think we're completely wrong, or we think we're stupid, or you think we're loud haters or whatever. Milk that sweet, sweet engagement from us. And so, I think this is an interesting one. And my answer might be a little bit boring, but number one, I agree. I would not buy the token. There's no context anywhere that gives me an idea that this is going to appreciate in value. In fact, it's designed not to. But there's going to be a lot of volume. So would I trade the token? No, I'm not a trader. I used to be a trader, and that just added stress to my life on a day-to-day basis. Significant amount of stress. Shaving years off of my life. And so that's why I would not trade this token. Would I dedicate my time to doing this? I do like the economic concepts behind this. I think it's really interesting. I would not do this though, because for a couple of reasons. I think that the way the leaderboard is already set up, it seems like early movers have some front runner advantage. They've got the following, they've got the attention, they've got all the engagement from crypto Twitter that's looking at like their tweets that say loud. They're interacting with that. It's kind of like when a KOL, tweets like, what are your favorite altcoins? And then like a bunch of engagement farmers tweet their own projects and stuff. So like, I don't think it's something I would do. And at the same time, I think it would dilute my own brand because, at Arcanum Ventures, Mello and I are quite dedicated to trying to create educational content and solve problems in this industry. And I don't think I want to like tarnish that by just mindlessly tweeting about Loud and hoping I can get paid a little bit because people are like liking my content, or some, faceless Kaito super app is monitoring my tweets. So no, I would not be interested in doing this. I do appreciate the innovation though. It's really cool actually. So yeah, I'm gonna give it one thumb diagonally down. Guess. Yeah, it's a first diagonally down thumb ever.
I'm so glad I didn't go first, and then I would have said I would have done it, and then you would be like, yeah, we don't want to dilute our brand.
No.
I definitely, I'll start by saying no, I would not do it. And I think it's kind of like a waste of time, and it dilutes like the quality of content we already see is pretty bad on Twitter. So this just makes it worse, especially with all the AI slop out there. I think it is interesting though, like with the advent of Kaito. I don't know how it works under the hood. It's a black box for me right now, but it's interesting that they've built something that you and I had talked about years ago that we would like to build, to kind of discern between like high and low quality engagement on Twitter. So you and I, this definitely is innovative in some ways. So it's simple, but it actually makes sense. And it gets me excited about what we could design in the future, token economy wise, digital asset wise, how we can launch tokens in better ways. It is more transparent than most of these tokens, so that is a good thing. It is a step in the right direction for some things. So I think we can learn some interesting stuff from this. Maybe we can like this is ultimately great for Kaito too. They're getting great exposure, and they're also getting a huge case study about how impactful it can be if you launch a campaign with them, and how you use it. It means everything. So I wouldn't waste my time talking about Loud. I'm kind of annoyed by everybody talking about it as well. But here we are talking about it on a video, giving our thoughts on Loudio or Stay Loud or whatever it's called. So yeah, I wouldn't sink any more time into talking about it. Maybe just like making fun of it on Twitter, but I don't know if they actually discern also between negative and positive sentiment, because like maybe I become top 25 talking about it, just hating on it every day, just saying this is nonsense, like useless drivel. So I don't know how Kaito rewards that kind of post or behavior, but that would be an interesting thought experiment as well. So I imagine this is how crypto works. We're gonna see a lot of copycats in the coming weeks and months, because people are gonna be like, I have a little wrinkle on this, like a little spin on what they've done here. Maybe people are, like I said, they're gonna apply it to tokens that already exist, using Kaito, maybe creating another asset as like a trading vehicle for that asset that already exists. I don't know. But people are going to definitely use this to make some new stuff, and I'm excited to see how bad most of it is, but there will be a few good ideas that come out of this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great take. And that's 10 short or 10 long minutes on Loudio. Good job, OX Ultra, for this really unique SocialFi experiment on Kaito and crypto Twitter. And we wish you all the best of luck. And I would say stay safe investing and be smart, but it's not an investment, so that's completely out the window. So just, I don't know, go trade it. Not financial advice, I guess. Until next time, take care, y'all. Ciao.
Ciao.